Yeah, no, I 100%. I think also too is that you just don't let him dictate what he wants. I think any fighter, not just John Jones, any fight, don't let them dictate what they want to do, because you let them do what they want, that's the end of the road for you. Well, Francis, yeah, he's got great power. He's getting better every fight. With Jones, he's as good as one of the best of all time, if not the best of all time. He's just smart, real tricky. I think Tommy, that guy, he's super tough and he hits hard. He moves well. He's a big man. I think that he stays calm under the situation, and whatever happens, he just stays calm. I think he'll be fine. He pitches shots. He's smart what he does, and I think he'll do fine.
Stipe Miocic, a former rival of John Jones, has shed light on the most dangerous weapons Jones could bring against Tom Apsinall in their upcoming showdown. However, Stipe Miocic said that Tom Apsinall must not let John Jones control the fight. He explained that this advice isn't just for fighting John, it's for any opponent. If you let a fighter do what they want, the fight is basically over for you. That's the biggest mistake you can make, Miocic warned.
Yeah, no, I 100%. I think also too is that you just don't let him dictate what he wants. I think any fighter, not just John Jones, any fight, don't let him dictate what they want to do, because you let them do what they want, that's the end of the road for you.
Another former rival, Daniel Cormier, shared his thoughts on how Jones could do better against Tom Apsinall. He believes Jones would be more effective if he stepped into the cage at 215 pounds rather than 245. According to Cormier, Jones is most comfortable around the light heavyweight mark of 205, and pushing his size up to 250 limits his quickness and sharpness. Cormier looked back at Jones's bout with Cyril Gane, saying Jones didn't move as well and looked a bit slower, likely due to the extra weight. While Jones rarely slips up during fights, Cormier noted that the heavier frame seemed to hold him back in that performance.
I bet if he's weighing 215, he would fight Tom Aspinall better than him weighing 245 pounds. In his 205 frame, right, he could fight Tom Aspinall better than he'd fight him at that 250, because that's not his weight class. While he didn't last long with Cyril, he didn't look as fast. He carried more weight. Cyril just did some weird stuff, and John, you don't make mistakes against him.
Famous commentator Joe Rogan shared his view that John Jones might be able to overpower Tom Aspinall by using his wrestling skills to take him down and keep control on the mat, which has always been one of Jones's biggest strengths. Still, Rogan added that there's a big unknown when it comes to Aspinall's stamina in the later rounds, especially the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Since no one has pushed Aspinall that far yet, Rogan explained, it's tough to say how he'd handle the deep waters of a long fight.
Who knows if John beats him? John might beat him up.
Yeah, he could.
John might take him down and ragdoll him on the ground,
John easily could, because we don't know how good John is either.
And we also don't know what happens to Tom Aspinall in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds.
We
have zero idea.
Because no one's gotten there.
No one's even gotten close.
However, Stipe Miocic described John Jones as one of the greatest fighters ever, highlighting his intelligence and unpredictable style. He advised Tom Aspinall to avoid making the same mistakes he did himself against Jones, including taking damaging shots like a liver shot. Miocic spoke positively about Aspinall's toughness, power, movement, and calmness under pressure. He believes that if Aspinall stays composed and focused, he has a good chance of performing well against Jones.
Well, Francis, yeah, he's got great power. He's getting better every fight. With Jones, he's as good as one of the best of all time, if not the best of all time. He's just smart, real tricky.
What's the best advice you'd give Tom Aspinall?
Don't do what I did.
Avoid the liver shot.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? But I think Tommy, that guy, he's super tough, and he hits hard. He moves well. He's a big man. I think that he stays calm under the situation, and whatever happens, he just stays calm. I think he'll be fine. He pitches shots. He's smart what he does, and I think he'll do fine.
Moreover, Dricus du Plessis praised Tom Aspinall for his determination and strong work ethic, while noting that John Jones is probably approaching the final chapter of his legendary career. He shared his hope that Jones retires on a high note, keeping his legacy intact, and sees Aspinall as someone who could lead the next wave of top fighters. At the same time, du Plessis made it clear that Jones still has the skill to handle even the toughest competition with ease, proving why he remains one of the sport's all-time greats.
Aspinall is young, he's hungry. You have Jones, who is definitely at the end of his career, 38 years old. I don't need to see this because he's never been beaten. I want John Jones to retire unbeaten, and I want him to retire, and Aspinall goes on to be the next big thing. But John Jones being the warrior that is, he says, pay me enough and I'm doing it. Aspinall wants it, and one of them has to lose that fight. And that's the one thing you look at it and go, Aspinall's probably going to win.
Eddie Hall believes Tom Aspinall would win if he fought John Jones. Despite Jones's legendary status, Hall thinks Aspinall's skills and potential would give him the advantage in the fight. He mentioned that Jones has been avoiding a matchup with Aspinall, even saying he doesn't want to face him after his next fight.
John Jones or Tom Aspinall. So if you don't know MMA world, sorry to bore you, but Tom Aspinall is UFC's #1 right now. John Jones is, he's seen as the best MMA fighter on the planet. Dana White's got a massive for him, says he's unbeatable. Honestly, I think if you put John Jones and Tom Aspinall in a room and said one man leaves, I think Tom Aspinall leaves that room. I genuinely do. I think, and I think John Jones, I can't badmouth the guy. He's got an amazing record, but he's definitely ducking Tom Aspinall, 100%. And I think he's even said he doesn't want to fight Tom Aspinall after his next fight. He's pretty much going to retire after this fight, so he's ducking.
Hall emphasized that actions speak louder than words, criticizing Jones for dodging the challenge. He feels that Jones's reluctance to fight Aspinall shows fear and is confident that Aspinall would defeat Jones if they ever fought.
Tom Aspinall. He can say what he wants, but actions speak louder than words. So there we go. Anyway, the answer to that question is Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is kicking John Jones.
Rampage Jackson referred to John Jones as the greatest of all time, acknowledging his position as a top figure in MMA. After watching Tom Aspinall's performance, Jackson praised him as a serious contender. However, he noted the difficulty in imagining anyone beating Jones, emphasizing that it can only be proven if it happens in the octagon.
John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. No, John Jones is the GOAT in my book. He's one of the best. And I recently saw Apsinall fight for the first time recently, and he's a great fighter, and he's a great champion. But I think it'll be tough for me to ever say that anybody will beat John Jones until it happens.
Frank Mir recognizes that Tom Aspinall presents a tough challenge for John Jones, but still gives the advantage to Jones because of his wrestling skills. Mir believes Jones could counter Aspinall's jiu-jitsu with his superior control and ground striking. He also pointed out that a win over Aspinall wouldn't drastically affect Jones's legacy, as Jones is already considered one of the greatest legends in MMA history.
I think Tom might have the best chance of anybody to beat John right now. But that being said, I still think John wins the fight just because of his wrestling. I think he puts, Tom on his back and is able to nullify his jiu-jitsu from being top position with his elbows and control. What does John win to take that fight? He goes out there and beats Tom. Is it really going to make or break his career? I don't think anybody gives a shit.
Patty Pimblett described the potential fight between John Jones and Tom Aspinall as a must-watch event. Although he's cheering for Aspinall and hopes he comes out on top, Pimblett acknowledged Jones's incredible fight IQ and strategic brilliance. He admitted that it's difficult to bet against Jones because of his vast experience and intelligent approach to fighting.
Do you think the Aspinall-Jones fight happens?
It's got to happen. I was sitting next to Tom the other week at the UFC in London and talking to him about it.
How do you think that plays out if they fight?
I'll be honest, Tom's a friend. I love Tom. He's one of the coolest dudes in the whole of MMA. Even though Jones is getting old, I just can't pick against John Jones. The one thing I do think John Jones has got the best in the world and the best ever is his fight IQ. He has a perfect game plan to beat that person. As much as I love Tom and I want Tom to win, I couldn't pick against John Jones. It's just something I couldn't do.
Joe Rogan emphasized that a fight between Tom Aspinall and John Jones is one that must happen, calling Aspinall possibly the fastest heavyweight ever. He praised Aspinall's exceptional blend of speed, power, striking, jiu-jitsu, and wrestling, noting that his movement is extraordinary for someone his size, making him a serious challenge for anyone, including Jones.
I gotta hope they fight. I want to know.
It's gotta happen, right?
Here's a question with Aspinall. What happens with Aspinall in the second round?
I guess
you want to talk about a guy who sprints.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a guy who's fast twitch. Aspinall's one of the fastest heavyweights. He might be the fastest heavyweight in the history of the sport. I don't think anybody moves like that guy does. At a 250 plus pound frame, his movement's extraordinary. And that's something you have to deal with. That is a crazy ability. His ability to move, the way he moves, is so much different than everybody else in the sport. Incredible stand-up, knocks guys out with one punch, black belt in jiu-jitsu, really good wrestler, his everything, and he's young.
Rogan also lauded Jon Jones's dominance in the octagon, highlighting his ability to take down elite wrestlers like Daniel Cormier, an Olympic-level grappler, multiple times. He pointed out that Jones is not only physically gifted, but also mentally tough, with a relentless competitive drive and a high fight IQ. Rogan noted that Jones doesn't rely on wild exchanges, but rather breaks opponents down with precision, using knees, kicks, elbows, and ground control to outsmart and outlast them.
He took down Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier is an Olympic wrestler. I mean, he's a phenomenal wrestler. And Jon took him down, and took him down multiple times. He's a different dude, man.
Yeah.
This is what we're talking about, like with genetics, right? There's some guys, they're just blessed. And then with Jon, it's blessed and his mind. It's not just, it's his personality, his like ruthless competitiveness. It's like he's not going to lose. He's going to find a way to get you. And he's going to do it clever. He's not trying to take a bunch of punishment and to stand and bang. He's not going to point the center of the octagon. Let's go right here. We'll stand right here. Never going to happen with Jon Jones. You're not getting none of that, son. You're getting knees to the gut. You're getting your knees kicked. You're getting just laced up with elbows where your head's bleeding. He's going to slowly dismantle you and find a way to submit you or punish you, beat you to death on the ground.
However, Rogan raised questions about whether Jones could impose his will on someone like Tom Aspinall, a natural 255-pound heavyweight with extraordinary speed and movement. He described Aspinall as a rare athletic talent, faster than any heavyweight he's ever seen, even quicker than Francis Ngannou, whom Rogan considers the most terrifying power puncher in the division. Rogan warned that Aspinall's unique combination of size, speed, and skill presents a major challenge, one that even someone as skilled as Jon Jones would have a tough time handling.
Can he do that with a guy like Aspinall, who's a legit 255-pound natural who moves like he's 80 pounds lighter? He's a freak, man.
Yeah.
Aspinall's a freak. Like, I've seen a lot of heavyweight, even Francis, who's like the greatest, scariest power striker I've ever seen in the heavyweight division. No one's scarier than Francis. Francis does not move like Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is significantly faster than every other heavyweight. That's a real problem.
Demetrius Johnson recognized Tom Aspinall's talent, but suggested that Jon Jones would probably have little difficulty defeating him. He expressed more interest in a potential fight between Jones and Aspinall than in a bout between Jones and Pereira, predicting that Jones would dominate the matchup. Johnson also speculated that Aspinall's reported $30 million demand could be a barrier in negotiations for the fight.
Jon Jones will smoke Tom Aspinall.
I don't know, man.
He'll smoke Aspinall.
Tom Aspinall is athletic. I think Tom Aspinall would try to take to fight to Jon Jones, and it'll be interesting to see. Like, I'd rather see that fight over Alex Pereira.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
I agree. I would like to see that fight over Alex, but come on, man. Aspinall is a great fighter.
Yep.
He's a good champion.
Aspinall.
That's what I said. Jon Jones will smoke Aspinall.
Yeah.
Smoke him.
I can't wait to see. I hope it happens. That's the fight that needs to happen. I think Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones needs to happen.
Why do you think there's so much friction there? Why do you think it's not happening? Why? Because we see so much.
I think Jon Jones said
internet.
he wants $30 million.
Sean O'Malley praised Jon Jones for his remarkable career, but warned that a loss to Tom Aspinall could impact his legacy. He suggested that critics might claim Jones's age and time away from the sport had finally caught up with him, which could tarnish his reputation in MMA.
Tom Aspinall? God damn. It's like you risk going down as no matter what, you don't have to fight again. Greatest of all time, people will say that. You're the greatest of all time. Greatest of all time, Jon Jones. Or you risk it, go fight Tom Aspinall, possibly lose, and then it's like, he was the greatest. Then they're saying, yeah, but he wasn't in his prime.
Jamal Hill recognized that Jon Jones has always faced elite competition and believes a fight with Tom Aspinall would be one of his most difficult challenges to date. While he expressed excitement about the potential matchup, Hill stressed that it all hinges on whether Jones is truly looking for one last major challenge in his career.
Well, if Jon Jones has taught us anything, you can never count him out. You never count him out no matter what the challenge is, no matter what. He's always risen to the occasion and risen to that challenge and perform exponentially. So I think that it'll be a good fight. I believe it'll be a good fight. I believe it'll probably be one of the harder fights and harder challenges that Jon has had in his career. So, I mean, it's all about if he wants to challenge himself like that or not.
Curtis Blades gave Tom Aspinall a slight 55% edge over Jon Jones, but acknowledged that beating Jones would be far from easy. Blades highlighted Jones's extensive skill set and championship experience, stressing that these qualities make him a constant threat, ensuring that any fight with him would present a major challenge for Aspinall.
Do you think Aspinall beats him?
Yeah, I would pick him. Like, I would go 55% him. Obviously, it's not gonna be a landslide. Like, we're going against Jon Jones. He's a legend.
Israel Adesanya pointed out that Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall are almost identical in physical stature, with Aspinall being just slightly taller and heavier. While he acknowledged Aspinall's remarkable speed, Adesanya emphasized that Jones's dominant ground game would give him a significant advantage. He concluded that unless the two actually face off, there will never be a clear answer to who is the better fighter.
But he's the same height as me, if not an inch taller, but thick.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're a lot thicker than I would expect. Yeah. And the speed, that's the thing that I'm like, okay, that's the danger. But again, grappling, he's a black belt, but Jon is it's different. Yeah. But I don't know, man. They got to fight. But if they don't ever fight, we'll never know.
Aljamain Sterling called the potential matchup between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall fascinating, but cautioned that betting against Jones is difficult. He pointed out Jones's mental toughness and methodical approach as key strengths. While he respected Aspinall's athleticism, Sterling warned that if Jones is able to secure a takedown, the fight could quickly shift in his favor.
It's a very intriguing fight. If I had to put money on it, it'd be super hard for me to bet against a guy like Jones, just because I know the mindset that he comes in with. Not saying Aspinall couldn't get it done because of all those physical gifts that he has. But dog, betting against a guy like that, if he gets you on the ground, that's just a bad night.
Kamaru Usman believes Tom Aspinall is the most dangerous heavyweight and the greatest threat to Jon Jones's dominance. However, he advised Jones to make sure his finances are in order before taking on such a risky fight.
You hit the nail on the head. I do think Tom Aspinall is the most dangerous heavyweight right now. 100% the biggest threat to pry that belt away from Jon Jones. But Jon has got to get that bag.
Francis Ngannou pointed out that Tom Aspinall needs the fight to prove himself, while Jon Jones stands to gain primarily financially. He also mentioned that Aspinall's wrestling and ground game make him a much tougher challenge for Jones than Alex Pereira.
He keeps saying he doesn't want Aspinall.
Aspinall need that fight. I don't need it. When you look at it, pretty much true. There's nothing that he's going to make winning that fight if it's not money. But for Aspinall, that will be everything.
Would you rather see him face Aspinall or would you rather see him face Pereira?
Aspinall will be a more challenging fight because Aspinall respond to a ground game better than Pereira. Aspinall will respond better in wrestling than Pereira. He can do whatever he wants.
Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen discussed Jon Jones's request for 6 months of preparation for Tom Aspinall, agreeing it was fair. Schaub felt Aspinall should be the underdog, despite not betting against Jones. He noted that even in Jones's prime, he struggled against fighters like Stipe and Cyril Gane, leaving some doubts. Brian agreed Aspinall's size and skill make him a strong contender, but believed Jones could still win, especially with his jiu-jitsu. He predicted Jones as a slight underdog, around plus 120.
Yeah, it came out Jon Jones wants 6 months to prepare for Aspinall.
I think that's fair. What do you feel about that?
It makes sense.
Where do you put your money?
I would not have bet against Jon, but I do think he should be an underdog in that fight.
Damn.
Aspinall's young in his prime.
So
Jon didn't look great, I don't think, against Stipe. Didn't look great against Cyril Gane.
Yeah.
We don't know. There's so many question marks on Jon. You know, my money would probably be on Aspinall, but Jon's the greatest to ever do it. So you don't want to count him out. I would say Jon should be like a plus 120 because there's question marks.
Aspinall's a big boy.
And very, very skilled.
And
but he has some holes. His defense is a little.
Well, he's also got holes in. If Jon grabs that black belt in jiu-jitsu is all good, but if Jon grabs him, puts him on his back, that's a possibility too.
Oh yeah, that's probably his best bet because he's not going to knock him out.
No.
Adin Ross shared his thoughts on a potential fight between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall, saying that while it's a tough decision, he would lean towards Jon Jones for the win. He acknowledged it would be an exciting and close fight, but suggested that if Jones wins, it would cement his legacy and likely be his final fight.
If Jon fights Aspinall this year, which I think it might happen.
I think it's going to go down, right?
Who do you think wins?
I don't know, man. I think it's gonna be close. I would say I gotta go for John Jones.
You have to, man. But man, I mean, that would be a crazy fight. But then it's like, if John wins that, then nobody could ever say anything.
He's done.
Yeah,
He's the
this is
go,
his
go,
last fight for sure.
So what are your thoughts on this? Share your thoughts in the comments section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.